I don't even know if you can hear me, Rahul, but there will be some news regarding Pat Lock in the coming days or so. Choking on a cheesecake, I do apologise. I suppose I better get on with this. I've stuffed my face for long enough. Let's do it. I can't lie, I don't know what's going on here. Even now, I don't know whether the starting soon scene is still up or not. Take my glasses off when I start this. It's not. Well, hello everybody and welcome in to this Tuesday's entertainment news. I am Jonathan C. Walsh, here to discuss the latest happenings in the world of film, of entertainment, and in this case, controversy around Harry Potter and the upcoming HBO reboot of the classic J.K. Rowling novels. I'm going to sort the microphone out. And of course, the controversy mostly surrounds the casting of the new Severus Snape. There has been some criticism thrown at other actors who have popped up in the, I think, 6 primary adult characters that have been announced at this moment. I'm going to do my best to navigate a stream deck which has not been built for a solo stream. It's been built up for me and Stephen streaming together. And therefore, I am toiling mightily to make things work. But yeah, as you can see here, HBO reveals the Harry Potter remake cast from Hagrid to Snape to Quirrell. I've got some issues with a few of the casting choices in here, not just Paapa's. I have got an issue with Paapa's casting. It's not for the reasons that other people seem to be having issues with the casting of Paapa on social media. It's certainly not got anything to do with skin colour. It's really just to do... Yeah, we'll get into it with a couple of things. But first and foremost, I've got an issue with John Lithgow as well. I don't think he's the correct choice to play Albus Dumbledore. I don't think he's... I don't know, there's just something about him that doesn't quite work for me. I'm not digging the vibe of the actor in that role. And obviously when you think of Dumbledore, there's a specific set of characteristics which spring to mind, kindly eye, and just a certain kindred kind of spirit, which Richard Harris had in an abundance in the first two, Chris Columbus movies from the early 2000s. Obviously, he passed away, tragically, and he was recast with Michael Gambon, who at the time I also didn't think as a teenager was the correct fit for Albus Dumbledore. And right off the bat, I'm not feeling Lithgow as the new Albus Dumbledore on this HBO Max recast, reboot, whatever you want to call it. I'll get to Paapa because he's the main crux. Some of the ones I don't have an issue with, Paul Whitehouse, I think is Argus, I can't even say his name, Filch. I can't speak tonight. I quite like that casting. He is of great renown in the United Kingdom, a great comedic actor. And he's got great personality about him. I think he'll be a fantastic fit as Argus Filch. I can definitely see him in the role. I don't know a huge amount about Luke Fallon, so I can't speak of his acting prowess and how well he's going to be as Quirrell. But Quirrell's a very interesting character, very nervous, tick-laden kind of character. I think he stutters. It's been a while since I've seen The Philosopher's Stone. But he's a very nervous character, and obviously as the story begins to unearth and we get further in, you begin to realise precisely why. He's a very nervous character because he has a symbiotic version of Voldemort sort of protruding out the back of his head, and that would, I imagine, knock most people for a bit of a loop, to quote Nick Cage in Kick-Ass. Nick Frost, I mean, there's always going to be issues here in terms of accepting these actors as these characters, purely because there is recency bias and nostalgia playing a part for someone like me who grew up as the key demographic for the Harry Potter movies. I read the novels, I was a huge fan of the series, and in my mind and in my heart, the likes of Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid is forever going to be that character. Alan Rickman as Severus Snape is forever going to be that character. Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, blanking on his name, Jesus Christ, Rupert Grint. Why am I blanking on Draco Malfoy? Tom Felton. These actors will forever be renowned and be the characters in my mind. And when I read the books now, I envisage their voices and their faces with the characters. Obviously, the late great, I'm blanking on her name, Maggie Smith, as Minerva McGonagall, is forever going to be that character. So for me, there's going to be a real issue accepting any of these actors in these roles. There's going to be a real issue for me accepting this TV show in general. And it's been something I've balanced for a long time now, since it was announced that HBO were going to be producing and bringing the world of Hogwarts back to life after 15 years, 14 years of a gap. I don't think it's a long enough time to go without having Harry Potter on the screen of any kind. I think we need to go 20 years, 25 years, 30 years without a Harry Potter iteration, and then we can go in and reboot it. I just don't think there's enough of a gap there. And people of a certain age, being me and people of my generation, maybe slightly younger, are going to have issues with this TV show. But of course, Paapa, we'll get to the comments in a second. Paapa's been the sort of primary, how shall I put it, focal point of controversy in this story. Because of course, he's a black man, and Severus Snape has long been associated with being this stark, ugly, dislikable, sallow-skinned, black, greasy-haired white guy. And obviously Alan Rickman, the late great, portrayed the character to great effect in the films. And much like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in those great X-Men movies, some shite X-Men movies as well, he's what people envisage in their mind when they see Severus Snape. And obviously when you start recasting characters of this ilk with something demonstrably different, there's going to be controversy, there's going to be blowback. In terms of the actual reasons and the rationale, I'm not entirely sure I agree with the whole DEI shite that's been posted on social media. I don't think the casting crew and the people involved in this TV show have went through all of the actors who auditioned for the role and thought, you know what, we're going to pick Paapa because he's a black man, and only because he's a black man. Nothing to do with his acting prowess, nothing to do with how he showed up in the audition. It's purely because of the colour of his skin. That's why we're going to pick him, because we want to piss off some section of the fandom, some section of social media. Whatever scale you want to go with is entirely up to you. 20%, 50%, 70%. I don't quite buy into the DEI stuff. Whatever the fuck that even means. A diversity hire. He's not a box ticking exercise, Paapa. Paapa's a great actor. I've seen him doing theatre work. He's a theatre trained actor. He is of the right age to play Snape. A lot of people don't realise Snape is in his 30s in the books. Alan Rickman was in his 50s when he played the character, and into his 60s as he got older. Paapa's actually age accurate. Now, of course, you can get into the characteristics, and look, I'm going to lay my cards out on the table here. I don't actually agree with the casting of Paapa. I think he should have been portrayed by someone like an Adam Driver, someone more closely associated with a sort of Alan Rickman version of the character. I think that's more book accurate. I'm pretty sure he was described as sallow-skinned. It's been a while since I've seen or read the novels. I don't think they mentioned his race in particular, but I do recall him being referred to as being a sort of ugly-looking, beak-nosed white guy. Getting to his comments though, I don't agree with the casting. Not for his acting ability, not for his skin colour. I just think we'd gone down a different route if we're wanting a sort of more book-accurate choice. By all accounts, HBO, I've got a quote here, did say they were going to be creating a faithful adaptation of these stories, a faithful adaptation of the books by Rowling. Now, of course, J.K. Rowling, and I'm saying her name 5 different ways every 20 seconds, famously cast Hermione Granger with a black actress back in 2016 in The Cursed Child. So it's not something that's not of precedent. There has definitely been other characters in this franchise cast with different looking actors in the past. And it shouldn't be the race that defines the role, it should be the actor. So I'll hold my hands up and admit I may be wrong in time. Selena has says, personally don't mind if the actor is the best choice. Well, I mean, yeah, time will tell. I may be made to eat humble pie. I may be wrong here entirely. Paapa may put in a fantastic performance, but we'll get into it. Another reason why I slightly disagree with the casting, maybe massively disagree with the casting, depending on how much of an issue you find in backstory, what shaped the character. Certain incidents that happened in the character's life when he was younger, the ramifications that's going to have for Harry Potter, for his father, for his uncle, for that group of friends, the Marauders. The implications of this particular character being hung from trees and how ethnicity can have a part in that. That's a big issue, and it fundamentally changes the character's arc, and that could be problematic for an adaptation which I quote is going to be a faithful adaptation of the novels. Well, it can't be, because you have to change everything now. We'll get into that now. I am a massive fan of Harry Potter, as am I. Things like this don't bother me. It's all about performance. It should be, and hopefully it will be ultimately, because it's not going to change. Paapa is going to be playing Snape, and ultimately, if you're a fan of the novels, I think the core message in the end is about, ironically, with JK and all the stuff that's come out with her, about accepting people for who they are, regardless of differences and of backgrounds and of supposed sort of heritage, mudblood, full blood, all that stuff. It's about coming together and celebrating, I don't know, eccentricities and weirdness and personalities and being your own person and being comfortable to be your own person. That should be the core message taken away from the novels. And ultimately, if he can overcome this controversy and give a great performance, I'll hold my hands up and say fair play. David Muller, crazy casting. I mean, in terms of acting prowess, I don't think it's that crazy. Obviously, the fact that they have decided to make a character which in a lot of people's minds is the whitest motherfucking character ever put to paper, and make him obviously black in the new TV show, that's perhaps crazy. But in terms of acting prowess, I don't think it's that out there. The actor is clearly very talented. Why is it crazy if the actor is the best fit? Then why not? There are thousands of actors out there that could be the best fit. I'll pass on the political nonsense. They're going to lose not only lots of money on this, but also the fandom. I mean, it could. It could be. We've seen this with Snow White recently. Not really a race-motivated controversy, more a political controversy from Rachel Zegler. Not able to keep her thoughts and opinions on things in-house during the promotion of the film. Cannibalising the profits, cannibalising the reception. It's a big problem with modern day establishments, studios. And look, I've been vocal about it. I'm all for diversity and representation. You look back at this channel over the years we've been doing it, I've been consistent in my messaging that we should have films and TV shows that represent the wider world and all the various races and genders and whatnot. It should all be represented, because there's someone out there of a certain age watching it who wants to see themselves in the story. But it has to be organic. You have to have an organic representation. There has to be a rationale for it. You can't just force it in there, because people will see right through it. We've seen this with Star Wars and the sequel trilogy with Rose Tico and all the other characters forced in there for the sake of being forced in there. And then you've got the likes of John Boyega recently coming out and criticising the fan base. A lot of them were racist, no fucking doubt about it. A lot of the Star Wars fandom are toxic and they are racist, but the vast majority love John and they wanted Finn to be a prominent Jedi character in the story. But it was forced diversity and people could see through it. So that's what we don't want. We want organic diversity. And that gets me on to the point I was going to make about Paapa. I mean, he could literally have come in and played just about any other teacher in the TV show. And I don't think there would have been as big a blowback. I think it's because of all the characters in the novels, I think he's the one that's perhaps got the most physical descriptors in the novel about him being this scruffy, like I keep saying, beak-nosed, greasy-haired, sallow, pale-skinned character. I think that's why a lot of people are maybe blown back. Let's not kid ourselves on. There's racists out there that will find an excuse to pop their head above the parapet and give their racist opinion no matter what. But I think for the most part, people are well-intentioned with this. They're just really passionate about the novels. They want to see this faithful adaptation, a new era of the stories being told in more depth, and they want in their mind the right casting. And it's fine to disagree. If we all agreed it'd be a boring world. I personally tend to agree that I would have preferred a different actor playing Snape. But it's nothing to do with Paapa. I want to stress, I feel sorry for this guy. He's going to be in the middle of a shitstorm over the next fucking Lord knows how many years. People constantly attacking him on social media. I hope he's got thick skin, because he's in for a terrible time. And I feel so sorry for the guy. He could have played Sirius Black. He could have played Remus Lupin. He could have played Dumbledore. Fuck, we could have Jeffrey Wright or something of that ilk coming in and playing a Dumbledore. None of those characters in the novels had any race attached to them. I think all we had was white, fine hair and a beard and a glint in his eye. Like I said before, Richard Harris done that brilliantly. There's nothing to say. A black actor couldn't have come in and portrayed Albus Dumbledore. Would there have been blowback? Absolutely, because people are never fucking happy and they love sharing their opinions. I don't think it would have been as fervent as the controversy and the blowback we're seeing with Snape though, because people just have it in their head. The character looks a certain way and that's it. Exactly, Jonathan. It's an insult to the actor, Jonathan. Thinking that's why he was picked. It's not why he was picked. It's definitely not why he was picked. I don't think Lithgow is a good fit. I don't know. It's just something about that feels off to me. I'm not digging Lithgow. I'm just not having him as Dumbledore. He's not a guy in my mind that I see he's playing Albus Dumbledore. I certainly agree Nick Frost could be a good fit as Hagrid. I think there's going to be some blowback against Nick though, because I can't see Nick doing the whole West Country, Bristol kind of accent. I don't think it was ever established in the novels that Hagrid was from the West Country or had that particular twang to his accent. I think that was just a creative choice from Robbie Coltrane. I may have missed it. I don't think it was ever established that he had that particular origin. So I can imagine Nick taking this in his own way, as he should. You can't do an impersonation of another actor. And there's going to be blowback, because people, I'm going to repeat myself, have grown up with these books and grown up with these films which were pop culturally relevant for over a decade. They were massively successful adaptations of the novels, and people have these actors in their mind when they think of the characters. And you're going to have real issues recasting. Marvel are going to have this issue 10 years down the road when they go to recast the likes of Captain America, Iron Man, Wolverine, all of these iconic characters that have been portrayed by brilliant actors who are synonymous with the roles. They're going to face the same issue. People will have those original actors in their mind, and they will be unforgiving of new directions and new interpretations on the stories and the characters. It's going to be really troublesome. We've already seen how the Ring of Power played out with box ticking politics. Yeah, that was a fucking just a shite show though. It was nothing really to do with box ticking politics. It was just a scraping the bottom of the barrel show. There was not enough story there to adapt a TV show for. It was from the appendices of the Lord of the Rings. Now they're expansive, but the particular period they were mining out of, it's not enough, man. They didn't have the rights to the Tolkien estate. They didn't have the Tolkien estate's agreement to go and interpret the story from the Second Age the way it should have been done. There's been a whole host of Tolkien novels that followed the sort of prelude, the prequel to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. They didn't have the rights to it, so they were making it up as they went along and setting it within the world of Tolkien's Middle Earth, and it just felt off. Didn't feel right. It's nothing to do with the casting, nothing to do with fucking, I don't know, someone having black skin, white skin, whatever colour skin you want to fucking pick. It was just down to shite writing and the characters feeling hollow. And it's just really poor show. I couldn't finish the first season. I'm the biggest Lord of the Rings fan you'll ever meet. Couldn't finish it. Terrible. Boring. This has still got a chance, this show. These actors can still save it. I'm not writing Paapa off. I don't agree with his casting in that particular role. I'd have had him in any other role. He could have portrayed Lupin, like I said. He could have portrayed, off the top of my head, so many teachers within Hogwarts. I'm now trying to think of another example. Lupin is part of the Marauders group. I mean, that's not to say we can't have other actors coming in. I mean, you've had iconic performances in these roles from the likes of Maggie Smith, Gary Oldman. I forget the Lupin cat actor's name. I always do. David Furlan. I think his name was something Furlan. He was in Wonder Woman as well. Fearless. David Fearless. David. Now I'm beginning to question if it's David. Doesn't matter. There's nothing to suggest we can't have completely different versions of those characters come in as well. And then you're not really alienating Paapa as much if you get different actors from different sort of ethnicities and races coming in to play. Of course you're going to have blowback again though, because they'll say it's just diversity casting. It's a gamble, and keep real world politics out of our IPs. We watch and consume these franchises as escapism. I completely agree. I'm fed up with forced diversity myself. It should be organic, and you should be really careful when you're dealing with sort of stories like this, that you're walking the tightrope and getting it right. Again, the majority of the characters in Harry Potter, outside of the main ones like Harry, Ron, who's clearly a ginger white character, a gangmeister, as we like to say here, you could really cast any of those characters with whatever race you choose. I mean, there's nothing to say that Minerva McGonagall was fucking white. She could be black, she could be Asian. It's never stated in the novels. And of course, J.K.'s come out and spoke about this with the casting of Hermione and the Cursed Child, 9 years ago, where she cast a black actress. There was blowback back then, and she says, I don't give a shit, as long as it's the right actor who performs in the auditions at that time, and I feel she's going to give a good representation of my character. That's all that matters. She didn't care whether she was black, white, Asian, Indian, doesn't matter. With Snape, I think it's a bit different. I'll get into it though. It's a gamble, right? I read that. I think you've done well to articulate your opinion. I respect that, but I think the casting's going to be awesome. The studios never learn. Yeah, they don't in some instances. But again, look, time will truly tell. With Snape, I think the biggest issue with Snape is that he was bullied and picked on by the Marauders back in the day. Harry's father, Lupin, Wormtongue, and obviously Sirius Black. They bullied and hated the character. They hung him from a tree, treated him like crap. And also, if you recast the character with a black actor, you're then inevitably drawing in some sort of racial undertone in the character's backstory. Because the immediate thought is, when he's been bullied because he's black, because he's different to the other students in the school at that time. And also with Harry's getting a irrational hatred for Snape. From the very moment he steps into Hogwarts, he doesn't like the character. He doesn't like the teacher, I should say. He sets out to pin everything, all the misfortunes, all of the oddities that happen throughout his time on Snape until shit gets really dark, and then it's Voldemort, whatnot. And even Voldemort, we're talking about Cillian Murphy being cast as Voldemort. That's just not the right casting for me. That's wrong. Doesn't work. And again, it's partly down to Ralph Fiennes. How's it? Ralph Fiennes. Fucking, it's Ralph to me, but apparently it's Rafe. He is Voldemort in my mind. So again, it just comes down to me accepting these actors regardless. It's going to be really tough. And again, me accepting this show. I don't really think we need the show. And I said that when it got announced. I'm not entirely sure we require a Harry Potter show at all. And I'm worried about the younger casting. Because Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, Tom Felton, Matthew Lewis, I think it played Neville Longbottom. All of these younger actors, Ivana Lynch, God, can't remember them all. They were synonymous with the roles. They were so good. They were precocious young talents, really charismatic. They fit the characters perfectly. And trying to recapture that magic again is going to be exceedingly difficult. And I just don't see it happening. I don't think there's enough up-and-coming good talent out there to do it. But we'll see. Question, did anyone ask for a TV? No, they didn't. I don't think anyone wants it. I actually don't want it. But yeah, I mean, getting back to the backstory of Snape, it opens up a can of worms in terms of how he's presented. Everything's skewed through the perspective of Harry. And Harry hates the character. And when you've got people hating on him and he's been excluded as a kid, you add in a racial undertone to that, it totally changes the dynamic of the character and the other sort of heroic characters, if you can call them that. So I now think they have to dramatically change the rest of the show now. In the story, they have to change the backstory, perhaps the ethnicity of a Sirius Black or something like that. They now have to become a black or an Asian character. They can't be white, because you can't have 4 white young kids picking on a black kid. It just, in terms of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the aesthetics, in terms of the, I can't think of the word just now, it's a twatty corporate kind of word. It just doesn't look right in 2025, presenting that to an audience, a young audience at that it's acceptable to hang someone from a tree. Regardless, it's fucking unacceptable. With 4 white students hanging a black student from a tree, it's fucking batshit crazy. You can't do it. So now I think they have to make radical changes with other casting of actors. So it's going to change things demonstrably. They're going to get further away, perhaps, from the adaptation of the books to try and justify the different ethnicity of Severus Snape in this TV show. Look, I wish them luck. They're going to get blowback no matter what they do. I feel for Paapa, because he's going to get some serious shit. And he's a great actor, man. He is a great actor. So I wish him all the best with it. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I'm hoping it's a success. Time will tell, though, whether he can pull it off. He's going to have a lot against him in this journey over the next, 10 years probably. I don't know how long it's going to be happening for. Next decade, guts of the next decade. We've got, is this Nick Frost here? Because he's got freed gold, and I'm not entirely sure. Fried gold. I'm just assuming it's freed. I'm putting a Germanic twist on it. He's had to switch his comments off because he's getting shit as well. I don't know why he's getting shit, but he is. He grows out curly long hair. He's basically the double of Robbie Coltrane. A little bit short to play Hagrid, but I'm sure they can size him up with CG or something. You're a wizard, Harry. Thank you for trusting me with such a loyal, gentle and courageous half-giant like Ruby's Hagrid. Robbie, I promise I won't let you down again. I mean, there's going to be controversy with this. There just is going to be controversy. You're going to have people blowing back because they have these other actors in their mind. And if they make one misstep with the story, they make one misstep with the performance, you're going to have a hail of shit getting fucking thrown at these actors on social media, at the showrunners, at the writers, J.K. Rowling, although she's fucking already getting an avalanche of shit flung at her, rightly, wrongly. So, yeah, I mean, I ultimately just don't fucking care, to be honest with you. I've got to talk about something. I seen that was big news. I'm like, you know what? I'll headline the show with that. Ultimately, I just don't care. I don't really care enough about the Harry Potter show. We've still got the movies. And if you're not happy with the show, you can go and watch the movies anytime you want. They'll be there forever. And if the show turns out to be brilliant, then great. But I just don't really care. I don't really care about Paapa being cast. Ultimately, there's going to be a lot of racist people using this as an excuse to sort of pollute the airways and social media with all their rhetoric. And obviously there's going to be a lot of well-meaning people out there, much like myself, who think it's perhaps a misstep, but ultimately just going to have to go with it at this point. It's been discussed over the past few days. Listen, this isn't new news. It was getting leaked a good 2 months ago, I want to say, that Paapa was close to signing the contract to play Severus Snape. They leaked the news out there months ago, so I've had a fair inkling that they were going down this route. So it's not like it's hugely shocking news. It's not. We've known for a long time that Paapa was going to be playing Severus. I think it's a misstep because I think it changes too much of the story personally. And for me, they should have went down an Adam Driver route. But ultimately, hopefully he can make the character his own. He can give a faithful performance. And we get something special from him. I'm rooting for the guy because he's up against it. On that note, though, I'm going to move on because I've not got much more to say about it. I'm not going to rip the arse out it. Good luck to them. It's a controversial thing. What I will say, final thing I will say, I mean, I've kind of says about racists, and I'm going to kind of backtrack a bit here because there is fucking racists out there. Let's be honest, there is. They exist, and they use this as an excuse to pollute social media with their bile. But there is a lot of people out there being branded racist, and they're not fucking racist. Just because you disagree with the casting, you want them to go down a more novel, faithful route, doesn't mean you're a racist. So we need to stop the stone throwing, we need to stop all this shite, ultimately. And yeah, you can disagree, but you don't have to call other people racist. Although I have just done it, because there is fucking racists out there. I digress, moving on. Topic 2, Pew, my dog's licking himself again. He does this every fucking time I'm in front of a camera, doing a show, doing a recording. Patal Lock Season 2. Rahul, we will be announcing something in the next couple of days. We've got a video coming out, probably Friday. We will announce what's happening with Patal Lock. Probably not going to be the most popular thing we've ever put out in the channel, but ultimately, yeah, we've got something coming out regarding that in a couple of days. So, yeah, stick around for that. Pew, though, Florence Pugh. Not just Pew, but Florence Pugh. Her name's that long, I couldn't fit it in the topic bar. Has been out speaking about the upcoming Dune Part 3, of course, the adaptation of Dune Messiah. And she's confirmed she's going to be returning as I forget the name of the character, it begins with an I. Let's see if we can get helped out here. I don't think we're going to get helped out here. Ireland. I read half the Frank Herbert novel. I never did get her name in part 2. I know she's a princess, the daughter of the Emperor. And I know, obviously, that the Emperor is soon to be Paul Atreides, because that's what happens in Dune Messiah. Spoiler alert, if you don't know that. It jumps 12 years into the future. He's already the Emperor. There's a lot of political stuff going on. I'm going to fucking kill my dog in a second if he doesn't stop licking his arse, or whatever he's licking. He's doing my head in. But yeah, Pew has nothing more annoying than in your ear when you're trying to talk and sort of form thoughts. It's really annoying, really off-putting. If I could karate chop him right in the fucking throat right now, I would do it. But that would be violence against an animal, and I couldn't possibly. Yeah, put that out there. I love my dog. I would never be violent to him, even though sometimes I think he deserves it. I digress. Florence Pugh, she confirms Dune 3 will be a thing. She is returning. I think she had a short quote, which is somewhere in this here article. And she said something in greater depth on an actual podcast or something. Yeah, I hope we see more of her. I want more cool outfits. But she confirmed that they're going to be commencing shooting this summer. By all accounts, Dune Part 3 will be finished. Its production, its shooting by the end of 2025. They're going to have a full year to do post-production work. It will be slated for a December 2026 release. It's remarkable how far we've came with Dune. Over the last 5 years or so, I want to say. I think it was during the pandemic, 2020, 2021, Dune Part 1 came out. There was a lot of doubt whether we'd see the second part. Obviously, Villeneuve, ballsy man that he is, put Part 1 in and kind of forced the hand of HBO and Warner Brothers. At the end was very quickly announced for Part 2. Part 2's came out, and I have to say, I fucking love the two movies. I think they're absolutely outstanding. They're some of the best sci-fi movies ever released. Dune Part 2 for me was like my Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back or whatever. Going to see that in the theatre felt like a big experience. It felt like a where were you when this film came out experience. It was a fantastic film in its scale and the acting and the adaptation, an unadaptable story, and then he adapted it, and he adapted it with absolute brilliance, to the point where the parts I had read in the novel, I could visualise and I could see what was going to happen before it happened. That's how good a job he did of explaining the mythology, all the different factions, the sort of religious aspect to it, the Bene Gesserit, all this stuff, the visions, everything really brilliantly. Obviously the Fremen stuff, their culture and their beliefs. He done a brilliant job of outputting this in an understandable way for people who hadn't read the novels. And obviously as an experience, a two-part experience, it was simply wondrous to see the journey of Paul to where he ultimately becomes at the end, this confident, assured guy who's endured so much loss and gained so much by the end. I tend to agree with you, David. I think they should have kept it as a duology. My dog continues to lick himself. It's like a fucking anxious, nervous tick he's got. Fucking hell. He just licks his paw until he's like Wormtongue or Wormtail. Wormtongue was like Lord of the Rings. He's not like Wormtongue, but he will be like Wormtail if he continues. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. A duology, I think Hollywood has this absolute hard-on for going for trilogies, whether they're required or not. They hammer home this incessant need for trilogy. Sometimes a great duology is all you need. When you think of Terminator, there really is only 2 Terminator films. I think James Cameron was involved in Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. The rest were all bollocks, fan fiction, where he was an executive producer, which means absolutely fucking diddly squat, nothing. He wasn't involved, let's be honest, he wasn't. That's a great duology. I'm trying to think of other great duologies in my mind's eye without going to novels, Timothy Zahn novels from the expanded Star Wars universe. Sometimes a singular story or a duology is all you require. And I'm going to get into that here because I'm using the news of Florence Pugh's confirmation of a return as a conduit to use a twatty corporate speak language again, into a greater discussion about Dune Messiah and Dune 3 and the problems we're going to have here. Because Dune 3, or aka Dune Messiah, is a completely different beast to the original Dune novel. It's a third of the size of the original novel. It's a political sort of intrigue, palatial political setting where they go into religion and the dangers of what do you call it again? Messiah, is that the name? Messiah figures, and how that can cause issues for people who become this almost cultish group who hero worship this singular person and are willing to do fucking anything in his name. I think that's the way they explore the story, the way Frank explored the story in Dune Messiah. Tonally, that's completely different to what we had in the first two movies. Setting-wise, it's completely different. You're going to be saying goodbye to big action set pieces, these huge scale sort of scenes and Arrakis or stuff like that, where you've got the ships coming down, these huge battles. The sense of scale, the sense of awe. The set pieces were what drew me to Dune in the first place. Obviously, the acting, the character stories within that are also important. But you're losing all of that in Dune Messiah. So I don't know how Denis is going to balance this. Are we going to get a sort of in-between story, bridging Dune Part 2 to Dune Part 3, aka Messiah? Are we going to see the journey of Paul, and that's where you'll get the action? Are we going to see sort of creative license therein, where we introduce different aspects of storytelling, of action in to make it a little bit more blockbuster? Star Wars tried this with the prequel trilogy. George tried to introduce political stuff into Star Wars, and it fucking fell in its arse for the vast majority of theatre-going audiences. They didn't want to see trade embargoes and political intrigue. They wanted to see lightsaber battles, and they fucking got that as well, to be fair, but not enough. So it's a dangerous ballgame when you start introducing these concepts into a blockbuster franchise that's had very little of that prior. So I don't know how he's going to balance it, man. I'm intrigued to see, because he's been a stickler for adapting the story bit by bit. There's been very little left out by all accounts. So how he's going to go about taking a completely different story and tonally making it a sort of, I don't know, tonally consistent experience from part 1 to part 3 is going to be fascinating. I know he's not doing a Dune 4, so it's definitely a trilogy. And speaking about Dune Messiah, I think this would be a fantastic casting as the villain. By all accounts, the villain looks like this guy here. It's a face dancer, which basically means it's a shapeshifter. My dog continues to lick himself into a fucking pulp. Jesus H. Christ. My lord, this dog is just a wreck. It's a face shifter. It's the villain of Dune Messiah. And Robert Pattinson apparently being suckled to play the villain. Now, this would be in keeping with what we've seen in prior Dune films, with the likes of Oscar Isaac, Stellan Skarsgård, Bautista to a lesser extent, Momoa, Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, brilliant actors coming in. You are mentally ill, son. You are mentally ill. Trust me to get a mentally ill dog. Fucking dog is crazy, man. And now, Austin Butler, obviously. And now, potentially, Robert Pattinson, Josh Brolin in there. Robert Pattinson as well, though. In Dune 3. It would be in keeping. I thought Butler was one of the standout performances in Dune Part 2. I think Robert Pattinson could do a similar sort of turn in Dune Part 3. I don't know enough about the character. I certainly searched up the name and got a sort of visual for what it would look like. That doesn't look like Robert Pattinson. It does look more like Barry Keoghan. But certainly he could play the role. This guy's a chameleon actor. He can play everything. Unbelievably talented. I'd love to see him acting alongside Florence Pugh, Zendaya, Chalamet, all these great actors. He'd fit in. He'd fit in very well. Villeneuve would get a brilliant performance out of him. This is the kind of shit I want to see in Dune 3. I want to see actors of this standing coming in. Ultimately, I am excited for Dune Part 3, regardless of what it says, with it preferably being a duology and leaving it there. I'm still going to be excited because I do trust in Denis. I've yet to see that guy make a bad movie. He tends to deal with complexities in a brilliant way. He done it in Dune 2, like I say, as Dune 1. He done it in Arrival. You take this potentially really complex story and you make it decipherable to the audience. So I trust that guy to get the adaptation right. He's a fan of the source material. I trust him to make enough creative license choices and changes in the actual story to make it more palatable to a wider audience. And I trust him to make casting decisions like Robert Pattinson and deliver an absolute fucking epic story that will bookend the journey of Atreides from this little guy who's not ready to lead, who's reluctant to be part of this greater family, part of this greater conflict and a galactic level, to ultimately being the Emperor and dealing with these issues on a grander scale and having to be the guy to end it in some strange way. That's something I'm really excited to see Chalamet tackling. It sounds to me like a story that Chalamet is going to be challenged in. He's going to have to deliver a brilliant performance, and we've seen him do it time and again. So super excited to see where they go with this. Glad to see it's now in production. Wasn't initially excited, but I am now. And I'll be looking forward to December next year when I can get my gingerbread latte and go in and enjoy another Dune film, because it's a fabulous franchise. David, I don't even know what casting you're talking about, I'm not going to lie. I went that far off piste, I've lost my fucking mind. My dog licking himself into a pulp. Me waffling shite about Dune Messiah, a book I've not even read, but I've read a synopsis for. I've lost the plot, mate. Topic 3 though, I'm going to move on and briefly discuss this before I bugger off for the night. And it's really a simple question. Will the Marvel magic return? And this is in regards to Avengers Doomsday, which Tony Mackie has confirmed he's leaving to start shooting very shortly. And obviously there's been a leak. This is bollocks, by the way. This has nothing to do with Avengers Doomsday. It's been confirmed to be fake. I don't know if this is fake though. I sincerely hope it isn't fake, because I love that aesthetic. I love that aesthetic. I love the hair. I love the beard. I love the suit. I love the cape. And you know what? It would shite right on a whole bunch of whining little bitches, Weetabix. Because he's got the mask off. That's all we heard a month, 2 months ago. He's not got the mask off. He's not got the mask off. Why is he not got the mask off? Oh, well, we're not going to get to see Robert Downey's face. This is a fucking disaster. It's shite. This is crap. Well, I like that. I like that aesthetic. I like the mask. Of course, we've got fuck faces like this on the side. Doom Co. If so, it stinks. These people will never be happy. Never. You can't make these people happy. They're deeply disenfranchised individuals that spend their entire life on X, Twitter, social media, just soaking in the toxicity, doom scrolling, depressive fucking husks. They will never be happy. I think this is absolutely fabulous. I like the look of it. I love Robert Downey as an actor. I'm buzzing to see this guy coming in and doing a villainous turn. This guy could rejuvenate Marvel. Certainly the Endgame of Marvel, if you pardon the pun, because it's not obviously Endgame, but Endgame's a Marvel film. See what I did there? You have to explain it, it kind of loses its power. Him, along with the Russos, I can certainly see the magic returning, brief though it may be. I think ultimately the ship has sailed for Marvel. I think in terms of an interconnected universe, those days are gone. There's just not enough compelling characters, enough compelling storytelling post the Infinity Saga to have this continue on at the level it was 5, 6, 10 years ago. You're not going to go back to that. They're not making movies like that anymore. They're not interconnecting it anymore. There's not enough big person. You've not got Chris Evans, you've not got Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, but you've got him as Doctor Doom. You've not got these great characters, Scarlett Johansson, they're missing from the universe now. And ultimately that's a large reason as to why it doesn't feel like it did 10 years ago. You can't take people with that personality, that charisma, that screen presence away and continue on with a successful franchise. You just can't. It's too big a loss. But the Russos coming back for these two Avengers movies, the introduction of Robert Downey as Doctor Doom could have a sort of a second wind. The sort of thing that happens when people are on their deathbed and you think they're ready to take their final breath, and then they pop back up and have a conversation, maybe crack open a beer, have a Big Mac, and then 20 seconds later they're fucking dead. That's the sort of film equivalent I think we're going to get with Avengers. And I tend to agree with Mackie. For these two movies, certainly the first one, I don't know about the second one, but the Russos are special as a filmmaking duo. Sort of brotherhood. I don't know if fuck's the word, I don't know. And I think they can make magic happen with these Avengers movies. Ultimately, time will tell with that. I will eat humble pie once again if I'm wrong for a different reason. But yeah, Tony had this to say. Yeah, man, he did say initially, going to give the audience that old Marvel feeling that they always had. Yeah, man, we're kicking on down the road, so everybody's getting excited and we're getting the band back together. We're supposed to go out this week and we'll be out there doing it. Everybody's excited, I feel, with the script and having the Russo brothers back. It's going to be great. I'm really excited for what this project is going to be. It's going to give the audience the old Marvel feeling that they always had. And that's the magic that I'm talking about, really. Regaining that Marvel magic. It's going to be difficult for them to accomplish because you are still missing Chris Evans and characters of that ilk, and what you've got left is not of a standard. Captain Marvel is not of a standard. They've just, what's the word I'm looking for, cut Doctor Strange that much that he's a fucking joke figure now. You've lost Scarlet Witch. I don't think she's wanting to come back. Elizabeth Olsen. And off the top of my head, who else have we got left here? US Agent, Bucky Barnes, Yelena. I don't know if Tom Holland's even returning as Spider-Man at this point. I don't know what's going on with Marvel. So you're still going to have that issue of trying to put together some sort of ensemble cast, some sort of Avengers group with a leader. We don't know who the fucking leader is at this point. But I trust that Robert will bring his A-game. He's a fantastic actor, an Academy Award-winning actor now, and he will revel in playing the villain for once. And I'm sure it will connect into Tony Stark in some strange way. There'll be multiversal stuff going on, maybe even link back to Endgame, what they were doing, retrieving the Infinity Stones. I think there's going to be some shenanigans with Steve coming back with that shield that technically shouldn't exist. I think there's going to be ramifications. It is multiversal at the end of the day. They'll connect it all in. I'm sure it'll work. And the Russos will make magic happen, because they always do. You should check Jewel Thief, The Heist Begins. Stars Saif Ali Khan. I think we reacted to that trailer, you know. I think we may have reacted to that trailer and I forgot to put it out. I think that's one we reacted to. I'll have to find it and try and post the trailer reaction up. I'm sure it's there. It rings a bell. I'm absolutely certain we reacted to that. Jewel Thief, let's search that up just now, shall we? The Heist Begins. Did we react to it? I'm sure we did react to that. Is that your man that plays Hafiram Chowdhury in Patal Lock? He's a fantastic actor, I love that guy. I think it is him, isn't it? Is it him? Let's bring this up, let's see what I'm seeing here. That's definitely Hafiram Chowdhury, isn't it? Jaideep Ali, what it is, yeah. Yeah, I like looking at him, man. Yeah, I'd watch that. Saif's great. Brilliant actor. And Jaideep's great as well. I'm buzzing to see this guy in Family Man. That's going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to that. Him alongside Manos Bajpayee, potentially Vijay Sethupathi, maybe even Shahid Kapoor. If they combine Farzi with Family Man and make it all come together in season 3, I think that would be something truly special. You'd have 4 absolutely wondrous actors in there, and you're combining this sort of interconnected universe all together. But Jaideep's great, man. I'm sure we reacted to that. I may be tripping, and if I am, then you'll never see the reaction. If I'm not though, and I find it may be out in the channel in a couple of days, if not tonight, if I can be asked. But I've got work to do tonight. I'm a busy boy. But Yeah, I mean, will the magic return? I don't know, man. I really don't. I think it's maybe too far gone for it to consistently return. But in terms of, it's almost like, I don't know, fuck. Try to think of a sporting analogy here. I don't know what. Tom Brady popping up at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his second last season and win the Super Bowl at like 45. It's like one last hurrah. Cristiano Ronaldo popping up in fucking Saudi Arabia and scoring like 70 goals. It's one last hurrah. I don't think consistently they'll be able to continue it. I think the ship has sailed, like I said. I just don't think it has that intangible magic it used to have back in the day. I think they've lost something and they just don't know how to get it back. But ultimately I do trust the Russos, so maybe it fucking will return. But look, man, I have waffled for a good... No fucking way it's been 58 minutes. No way it's been 58 minutes. That is bullshit. I have not sat here for an hour talking absolute shite. I'm calling shit on that, bullshit on that. I'm just going to hold this mic. Hold it away though so I don't... I'm calling bullshit. I don't know how long I've been speaking. I think the intro was about 15 minutes, so maybe about 33 minutes or something I've been talking. That seems more accurate. But let's go round it up. What is your thoughts on the topics I discussed? The controversy surrounding the casting of a black Severus Snape. Is it something that you care about? Are you a fan of Harry Potter? Do you want to see something done about it? Would you have preferred to have seen an Adam Driver who's more aesthetically in line with what the novels spoke of when they spoke of Severus Snape, this tall, beaked nose? And I'm going to be harsh on Adam Driver here. Slightly unattractive, sallow-skinned, pale white, marble white, fucking horror show of a character. Do you care? Ultimately, is it something you're going to be watching anyway? Were you a fan of the movies? Will you accept any of these characters? For me, I'm struggling to accept the show as a concept. I'd never even get into it, man. I was going to speak about so much. There was so much. I mean, this fucking... Why are we even rebooting Harry Potter, man? Why are we doing it? Why are we rebooting the story? You've got so much potential in there. You could go and do a prequel. You could do a sequel. You could go off and get the approval of J.K. Rowling and give us the sort of content, the continuous story of Harry and what the fuck did he call his... What did he call his son again? I can't even remember. Was it fucking Sev? I can't remember. It's been that long since I've read the books. I used to read them every year. You could continue that story. There's so much scope for new storytelling within the sandbox of Harry Potter. But you can cast anybody you want as a fresh new character, all original character. There's so much potential with the franchise and people would be open to it because it's not Severus Snape and they don't expect Alan Rickman like, whatever word you want to use. This is what's... I mean, I could go off in a fucking rabbit hole again here right at the end of the show. This is what's wrong with modern day entertainment, man. There's just a complete lack of originality. Lack of creative fucking juice in Hollywood. Do something different. Why are you shoehorning actors into roles like Severus Snape when you've got a brilliant actor like Paapa who could get his teeth into an all-original role and give something really special? Now you're just bringing controversy onto the guy. He's going to have to shoulder so much responsibility and shite from fucking ignorant arseholes on the internet. And the pressure on him to get it right is unbelievable now. But what's your thoughts anyway? I digress. Thoughts on Dune 3? Is it something you wanted to see? What's your thoughts on Messiah as a story? How is he going to bridge that creative sort of chasm that is the original Dune novel, the themes explored with Dune Messiah, and make it a tonal sort of equilibrium? I don't know what I'm fucking saying here. Because tonally it has to work. It's a trilogy. It has to feel the same. There can't be a distinct difference in the final movie. Thoughts on Pattinson joining thoughts on Avengers Doomsday. Can they reclaim or bring back the Marvel magic one last time? Anything you want to share, put it down below in the comments section. That's the place to share your thoughts. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. I don't even know what that was. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. I'm trying to read things while speaking at the same time. I can't multitask. Hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyes. Same thing over on Twitch. Follow button, notifications button over there to see us live on a different platform doing the exact same fucking thing. And all that's left to be said is until the next time, thank you for watching and bye bye. Thank you, David. Thank you, Davey Moore. Thank you.